Lanai. This one is, another one I'm not too familiar with. Okay, well, you know what? I do know this was a great deal of this was one of the first sugar plantations in Hawaii, and made a lot of selfish businessmen rich. Keep in mind, the business owners, usually of these sugarcane fields, were the ones who helped to overthrow Leleokalani from her throne. And this whole mountainside, if you could tell, has just been, farmed over and over. It's almost like just flat now. There's no real nature to it. And I don't know, that kind of breaks my heart, but I mean, who's gonna deny that sugarcane is pretty delicious, and it's helped grow the economy in Hawaii. But look at this whole half of the island is just nothing but an airport and some fields. I wonder what's over here. See, then I always zoom in. You gotta zoom in and... Oh, right. Yeah, I've seen this before. This is like a weird... It almost looks like a Hollywood set. Like there's this little docking port and just a mass amount of palm trees, but it's a clearing. It's not like the normal vegetation. And there's these little, it looks like bungalows or something, and part of me wonders, have reality TV shows been filmed here? I want to know. Like, I'm really curious, because it's almost like a set of Hawaii, when this is Hawaii, not this, like whatever this is. Ooh, what's this? Someone's house. Imagine living there, just all alone. Some people get anxiety thinking about like that stuff, like cabin fever, island fever. It's not something that crosses my mind, but with quarantine, I'm sure people want to get out and do stuff more now than ever, so I guess showing you a little secluded house on an island probably isn't helping some people. But hey man, it may not get you out of the house, but Google Earth will take you anywhere. Don't underestimate it. I mean, pick your favorite place in the world and just go street by street through it. Like, I have been through all of Paris, like, just by clicking around, and I feel like I've been there, kind of, so I won't regret if I never get to go in person. Let's put it that way. That's how good this is, and I do this way too often. It's just one of my little hobbies. So, Maui, if you look at it this way, it kind of looks like the bust of a person, and it is right across from Lanai, so I feel bad that anytime I've stayed in Hawaii, I stay on Maui, I look across and see Lanai and realize I don't know much about that island. It's just out there on the horizon. Here's my bay. My bay! Here's my bay. Fuck. Alright. This is the first place I ever, like the first beach I ever stood on as a kid. It was just Napili Bay. You walk down this little road, and it was at one time paved, but it has been covered with so much beach sand, it may as well be a dirt road. Hui Drive. Oh, like the Hui. Yeah, you used to be able to click a lot further. Just go down a longer shot of the street by clicking like way up here or something. Does anyone remember that? I certainly do. There's a path right around here that leads right to the ocean. Of course, there's a little shower station right here for you to wash off all the sand, but no one cares, which is how the sand ends up all the way over here. Yeah, let's drop down around here. I miss this. I really miss Hawaii. I don't miss the tourists, but, people everywhere. Oh my god, is it really this bad now? Why? See, this is how I understand the locals. My dad, when we first went, lectured me about how the islands were taken and how we need to be respectful of the 50th state because they don't want to be the 50th state. And Hawaiian locals would love to get a punch at you if you said something disrespectful. But, you know, that's not who they are. That's not how they are. It depends on respect. And if you don't respect them, or, you know, if they feel disrespected, like their islands are being mistreated, you'll get an earful from some local. Absolutely. I definitely feel their pain. It's sad to see all this crowding and I don't know. Oh, you can see Lanai right there. It's just covered in cloud. This is where I learned to like baby surf. It's not good surf, but you know, I was able to learn this little tiny channel right here. I took a friend to Hawaii one year and unfortunately she broke her collarbone somewhere around right here because she didn't know you're not supposed to ride the last wave in onto the shore, and her board just went straight down into the sand and cracked her right across the collarbone, and it snapped right in half. There's just so many memories here. This is where I first caught a sand crab. I was just scooping up some nice soft sand, and this thing just started crawling out and into my hands and freaked me out. I didn't know what I was looking at. And I dropped it and back into the water, and I proceeded to try and find another one all day long, but I couldn't. I was like, God, if only I had just sat there and like held on to him, I could have looked at him. But I thought it was gonna eat me. Oh, walking across this lava rock, super sharp. You gotta have the right shoes, but there's a lot of like little tide pools, and you could get some great pictures of sea urchins and a lot of marine life. This nice cove. Just all of this. Oh, look at these people. Oh my God, look at their solar panels. These people are not paying for electricity. No, thank you. Would you look at that? Oh my God. These people don't kid around. Ah! Nakalele blowhole. This is what I was talking about earlier. The waves will come through here, up in between some of these rocks, and they'll actually shoot up like a blowhole. I forgot that was on Maui. Heart-shaped rock. I want to see a heart-shaped rock. I mean, who hasn't seen one before, but... Hey, what the hell? I see nothing! Yep, yeah. They lied to me. Here's Lahaina. Here's something you guys might like. Lahaina, the Bonyen Courtyard. This is the oldest living banyan tree in the Hawaiian Islands. And this entire area, it's a pretty fun shopping center. I always enjoy myself when we walk through there, but this is my favorite part. Oh. Now these roots, okay, where's the trunk? There's the trunk. Oh my gosh, it only gets bigger every time I see it. This is crazy. So you see these strings, these rope-like things coming down, that's actually the roots. Now, usually these trees are in very moist areas, so the roots will actually drop from the top and root themselves down. Now this is just like someone put a pole here because sometimes people are jerks and they sit on the branches when they're not supposed to, but this one's being propped up. But if you see over here, they'll actually start developing their own roots, and it's like a secondary trunk. Now this center trunk, it takes like, I think like 9 people holding hands to link around it entirely. So let's actually get closer to that and see. Look at this tree. It takes up an entire block by itself. And there's this, I believe a city hall type thing. Old Lahaina courthouse. There you go. So it's a courthouse. Very pristine. Nice columns, nice columns. That guy's like, I'm gonna be famous. Here's all of the docked boats. I'll take you for snorkeling, parasailing. You could do a lot of scheduled tours around here. Let's just take a stroll down this street. For old time's sake. For my sake. For my sanity. The wharf. I believe this was like a burger joint at some point. I can't read the sign. I know there's some good burgers up there. Or there used to be. The ABC store. That's like a Piggly Wiggly's or just a Conveni. Whatever you guys have. Whatever you're used to. The ABC store has all your kind of gas station basics and a lot of tourist items. So if you need to buy someone's keychain with their Hawaiian name on it, that is the place to go. And there are hundreds of them. I'm not going to recognize a lot of these stores, I'm sure. It's been a while. Look, there's even a Vans. That was not there before. There's a lot of art galleries in this area. Peter Link Gallery. Oh my goodness, look at how he decked out this front part with the columns and the crown molding and stuff. I don't think that looked like that the last time I was in Hawaii. I do not remember this place at all. So this person clearly has enough money to display their art, but you can kind of look in there and actually see some of the art. It is pretty incredible. Now what's really cool is this sidewalk right here is entirely made of seashells. When you look at it up close, it's like pieces and chunks of smaller puka shells and other crustaceans. And the thing is if you don't bleach them out, these people did, but if you don't bleach out the shells and then you just put it in the pavement, some roads will actually stink like dead fish and tar because there's like still little dead crustacean bodies inside the shells. But these ones are nice and shiny and white. They've probably been bleached out before. Yeah, and this is just a nice little stretch of land without any shops. So right down below here, it's kind of a secret. Don't tell anyone, but you can, when I'll get to the end, I'll show you how to get down there. And it's not like one of those don't let anyone see you. You're not going to get in trouble for going down there. At least I don't think that they've made a rule about that. It's just a nice little step-off area if you don't want to be on the sidewalks or around the people and for a minute you just want to put your feet in the sand. Is this still Cheeseburger in Paradise? Please tell me it is. Okay, I don't know if you know about that song, but if this is still Cheeseburger in Paradise, when you come here, eat there. And see this little step down right here? It's that person's actually on those stairs. Down here is just a little strip of sand for your feet. Isn't that so nice? And this restaurant outlooks the ocean, and oh, it's just so wonderful. Let's see if that really is still Cheeseburger. Cheeseburger in Paradise. Ah, it still is! Or at least in this picture it is. I hope it hasn't changed. Oh, this was taken around Christmas. There's some decorations there. This is proof. There are no seasons. Look at the green leafy trees, and they're celebrating Christmas. Okay. Let's take a moment to admire my favorite art gallery, at least that I've discovered thus far. Sargent's Fine Art Gallery. And I could go in here and just stare at this artwork all day. There are multiple rooms back there. It is so chill. There's a lot of artists who will be like right here in these front doors doing a live painting, something that will eventually end up in the gallery. It's incredible. There's actually a statue of a ballerina in there that I just wish I could afford, and every time I was in there, I would sit in front of it and just stare at it. Imagined it was in my room. Ha, I wish. Nope. And like I said, some of these stores may be completely different when you go. Some of these photos may be extremely old. Ooh, wait, what? It was just Christmas a second ago, but now it's Halloween. Ooh, and this. Okay, so because of the diverse culture, here's something very interesting. Wohing Temple Museum. That. Ooh, this one was taken at night. Very nice. Beautiful. This is one of the first Chinese families who actually lived on the Hawaiian Islands, and they made a huge sort of economic setup for any Chinese immigrants. They would help people find work. They would help retired workers find housing. There was even a guy who I think was supported by these people financially to help him start Chinatowns in, I believe, California. And he's basically the father of Chinatowns. And inside here is super beautiful. It is a beautiful house. It is a really interesting piece of history. And the woodwork on some of these older houses is just incredible. And definitely something to be admired. I believe one of these places is still a Bubba Gump shrimp factory, or company factory? The Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. Forrest Gump and his friend Bubba was always talking about opening up a gumbo restaurant, and all these different types of gumbo, and so that is a real restaurant as well. So if here is Cheeseburger in Paradise, that would mean Bubba Gump's is right here. This just became a Maui tour. Dun, dun, dun. No, that's a t-shirt shop. It must be further down. It is! It's still there. Good. I'm glad. The Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. I knew it was company, not the other one. And then right here... Oh, wait. Let's go over just one more. It's Forrest's bench with his briefcase and a box of chocolates. I loved that. That was just like my favorite thing. Tourism is gonna be a nightmare for a while. I really wonder how long it'll be before people re-spark their interest in actually traveling. I think this is more fancy shopping. Like, I think there was a Banana Republic in here and some garbage, but I think this was like a Hilo Hattie's. Yeah, Lahaina. That's a pretty interesting place to go if you just want to do a little bit of shopping and find some good restaurants. I absolutely recommend Cheeseburger in Paradise. This is the biggest and most delicious burger I've had in my life, with the exception of maybe one other place, which was Tommy's in California. I don't know if anyone knows what that is. Island Reserve. See, the ones I don't know much about, I'm almost always certain it's an island reserve because I don't recognize it. Looks like someone tried to plant something in rows. Can't tell if that's still alive or not, or what I'm really looking at. Hawaiian National Parks and all that good stuff. It's just a quiet island. I mean, I could do a full tour of this whole island later. I would absolutely love that. The road to Hana, road to Hana is actually hundreds of turns over like canyon walls, and the whole road, I believe, stretches from Kaupo to, I honestly am not sure, but maybe all the way up to here. It is a beautiful drive. Look up the road to Hana on YouTube and you'll see some footage. People will record the entire drive from their dashboard, and it's pretty amazing stuff. Now for the big island of Hawaii, the actual island of Hawaii. Keep in mind this is the biggest mountain in the entire world, a mile taller than Everest. Got Mauna Kea, Mauna Loa, and Kilauea. This is the only island that has any active volcanic eruptions, and even now, I do believe in 2008, something happened with one of the volcanoes where it started to fill up with lava. And actually, let me rewind a little bit. When I was talking about hot spots earlier and how the tectonic plates are kind of slowly moving over that hot spot, Mauna Kea is developed first, and then you have Mauna Loa, which is right here. These have been active for so long, the hot spot is actually starting to move. So we have a national park, a observatory for volcanoes, which is right here, because the hot spot traveled off those two mountains and over here. And in 2008, this spot appeared and filled up with lava, and so you could go visit and see lava pools for about 10 years, up until 2018. Now that lava pool just disappeared and sunk down into the ground, and then they were left with this. This whole ridge, this soft, gray, sandy ridge, was not there. This was all basically flat. And I went before 2008, before the lava showed up, so I only ever got to see some sulfuric gases being released, and they call that foggy stuff VOG because of the volcanic elements in the clouds. This sink down happened in 2018 when I guess around 3 or 4 in the morning they heard like just one loud pop, and the lava pit disappeared, and all of this sunk down to what you're seeing right now. From this ground level right here, the untouched part, well, this was the edge and you could look down into the pit, but now the pit is all of this all the way down to here. So that's the steepest point. Right here, this depth is about as deep as the Empire State Building, and that'll give you some perspective. And right now what we're left with, this picture's a little distorted, which is why I don't like 3D, is this sulfuric water lake, because there's enough water in the ground that it leveled out and started surfacing through this pit. And we have a lot of chemicals in here that volcanologists, did I say that right, are studying, and these colors are going to change throughout time. So right now it's like a murky brown, and sometimes it's like a bright crystal clear blue, sometimes it's greener. You can see the edges are kind of green. And what happened when all of that sunk down, the conduit of lava that was feeding this pool opened up somewhere around here. And now this is where I'm having trouble. I do believe that this is an older photo before all the fissures opened up, but I wouldn't be surprised if, because it was such a monumental incident, that Google Earth, or that Google's satellites may have already taken new pictures. So I'm not quite sure if this lava flow you're seeing is old lava flow or new lava flow, but it did open up all the way down here. And a fissure isn't necessarily, it's, you know, you think of a volcano only ever erupting at the top, but once that's happened, sometimes that is closed, that route. The lava can't go through that route anymore. So instead it grows out the side of the volcano and bursts out the side. And these fissures, I think over like a dozen of them, maybe even a few dozen fissures opened up on this trail leading to the ocean for, I believe it was about 3 months of 2018, in the latter half of the year. And people were losing their homes. People who had lived there their whole lives and said they didn't even need volcano insurance. They just didn't realize. But if you take a good look, there's some incredible shots here, overhead shots of lava flow. And And if you get close enough on some of these areas, it'll show you a date of when that lava flow was. Because as you can see, vegetation has grown over old lava flow, and then more recent is still very black and charred. It's like some mining is going on over here. That's pretty cool, actually. It's probably where they get a lot of their cinders and concrete dust. You can see it goes through towns as well. And people just kind of work around it, you know? Like, your property gets destroyed, and life goes on. You just scrape through that rock and get your driveway back on track and rebuild. Look at that. Perseverance, you know? It's in all of us. Keep in mind, the coastal region is just astounding. I'm not taking my time zooming in on every little thing, but if it were me, I would, you know, if I was alone and not trying to record this, I would be taking my time looking at the little details. And you never know, you might come across a whole bunch of seals just chilling on the side of the beach, like thousands of them, just because you're scanning across the beach step by step, and it's always worth it. I've never once been disappointed by the hours and hours I've spent on Google Earth. If I'm bored with one thing, I just go somewhere else, you know? Like, oh, never been to Ireland, let's go there, you know? Never been to Saudi Arabia. Now you could even go to your own property and just see, like, you know, if your yard needs any work, or if it's an old photo, you know, when you still have your old Firebird parked in the driveway and you miss it, and so you go look at that old picture out of nostalgia. Yeah, look at that lava flow. Just destroys everything in its path. Sometimes Pele's got a vent, you know? Ah, see, there you go. Kaapuna lava flow of 1950. And this black is so strong. The camera thinks everything else is bright by comparison, so all this green foliage is being grayed out. But you can see this is old lava flow next to new lava flow. So here's really old lava flow. It has vegetation on it. Here's like another bit of lava flow, and then here's like a darker, newer. It's incredible. Earth is just incredible. Lava flow of 1965, 63, 22. Look at this tree, just hanging in there. Leilonia Estates. Now this was interesting. If you get this little guy out, you can still see the grid even though there's this lava flow right here. And so if I drop him off, you can see at this intersection. The lava isn't there. It's these are photos from before the lava took down this area, so some of this doesn't exist anymore, which is terribly sad, but it is a way of life. And let's look at this. All of this. Look, this is Fern Forest. This is, oh, that's that purple flower again. That viney stuff. Oh, tropical regions are just so amazing for their vegetation alone, among the billions of other things. Ah, look at this. There's tree logs from all the detriment. It's so heartbreaking. And then of course, this is just the most surreal thing. Let's just drop this little guy right in the middle of the grid. And that's all lava flow now. Boom. But it used to be people's homes. Like, Mother Nature is our greatest gem, but she's also our most fearsome enemy, and it is just awe-inspiring. But there are a lot of amazing things to check out on Hawaii. I know you can no longer see the lava pools. You could only see that from about 2008 to 2018. And anyone who got to go during that time, it's very lucky to be able to see that in person. Moving, living lava. I hope you paid Pele your respects. But I never got to see it. I haven't been to Hawaii since I think 2006, so I missed all of that action. There's still going to be some stuff to study here. These are still definitely great places to collect data if you study volcanoes or geology and anything of that sort. Apparently, the hotspot, now that it is moving away from the Hawaiian island, the island of Hawaii, it is apparently going to be showing up down here in this coastal area and is going to be creating a new underwater volcano. They've already named it. They've named it Loihi. I don't know what that means. I wish I did. But they said it won't really be a full-fledged island for about 200,000 years, and the tip of it won't really show up at the surface until, like, I think 50,000 years from now, so who knows if mankind will even be around to see Loihi, but it's an incredible thing to think about, that there's just going to be some other, I mean, maybe this is it, who knows, somewhere around here, but the hot spot right now is mostly right here. This is where the activity was, and next time I see this island, this whole underwater landscape is going to change, and right here it's probably going to look a little different. Because it has such a large landmass, there are a great deal of national parks and places to visit. I remember this one. Koloko means pond, and it's a man-made pond. It's actually just like a tide pool area where they laid enough rock out that they trained the fish to kind of come in, and it was almost like where they learned how to fish and harvest and farm and stuff. A lot of tribal history is around here. You know, King Kamehameha was the king who united all of the Hawaiian Islands as one kingdom, basically. And I believe there's like a statue in honor of his family's god right here. Oh, I feel so bad. I don't know where it is. Shame on me. Did I not spell it right? Well, I know it exists. But you can see the temple that was erected in honor of King Kamehameha's ancestral god, which gave him the power to overthrow his enemies and unite Hawaii. And I know it's somewhere in this little area, I just don't know where. I'm so embarrassed. Oh, the petroglyphs. Oh. You can actually see a lot of artwork like carved onto lava rock here and stuff. And I hope that anyone who is watching this is getting a good idea of what to expect when they go to Hawaii. I don't know if you're moving to Hawaii, if you're just gonna go visit, but there's a lot to learn here, and there's a lot of cultural history to appreciate and acknowledge. So if you ever go to Hawaii and then you think you're bored, you're just fooling yourself, because there's so much to do here, so much to see. I mean, you're gonna have to like hiking and national parks and fresh farmers markets, and appreciate the culture if you're gonna really try. But if you like In-N-Out Burger and going to the Cheesecake Factory, I don't know what city people do, but if those are your things, you might be a little disappointed. Just when you come to Hawaii, forget all your expectations. Don't worry about not being able to find your favorite soda. You know, try something new. Experience life in a new way. And, you know, really, really take it to heart. Understand the magnitude of where you are standing. And just appreciate the fact that, you know, the birds in these areas aren't scared of people, and, you know, that everyone's really kind, that there's not one but two languages you can try to identify. You can try to learn some actual Hawaiian, native Hawaiian language, or you can try and catch the locals speaking pigeon talk, you know, little things like that. Culturally rich, this whole place. I can't say enough good things about it. If I could live here, I really would, but that's just the problem with the islands. More people keep wanting to move there, and yeah, I respect anyone who is able, but so long as they respect the people who are born and raised there, I think that's all that really matters. Now, this isn't a local food. It was brought to the islands, but the macadamia nuts are delicious, and they're one of their biggest exports. And there's like a factory around here that just creates like caramel, chocolate, macadamia, turtle, truffle things, and oh my god, it is incredible. I think we spent like a whole afternoon at that factory and left with like way too much chocolate, but that's a good place to visit if you want to learn a little bit about the agricultural system. Here's a fern forest. Let's take a look at this. Look at the people who live in it. Oh, I can't go down that road? They don't want me down their road. Oh well, we'll plop down right here. Watch how dense this is. Yes. And this is a fern forest. You probably can't walk through it. And then there's someone's driveway. Just tucked away in the corner right there. Couldn't see their house if you tried. It's incredible. Look how dense. It's like that movie, The Ruins. The plants are just after them. They dominate everything. It's beautiful. Oh, it's so beautiful. Well, to be honest, I feel like after I end this stream, I might just continue scrolling around here on my own. And if I find anything interesting, I will definitely do this again with a full itinerary, if you will. And we can just keep exploring the islands together. And honestly, I mean, we have the whole world for us, so how about we check out Ireland or Paris or anything. I really hope this was informative, or at least relaxing for some of you. And I hope this inspired you to get on Google Earth yourself and start exploring the world around you. Didn't even have to pay for a ticket. How awesome is that? Now let me give you one last place to check out. We'll end it on a high note here. One of my favorite and one of the most popular waterfalls in the area is Rainbow Falls. And it's interesting because it changes seasonally, of course. And sometimes you'll have high water, and sometimes low water will give you smaller, thinner falls, like twin falls. See, it's at a twin point right here. But then other areas, I've seen pictures where it's just at full rush, and it's amazing. But look how amazing this place is. And it's a shame that, you know, now we have to view nature from behind a wall or a bar. But, you know, if, you know, potentially you could go down behind this waterfall, and there's a cave back here. And it's just, it is more astounding in person. These leaves, for example, look at this leaf. Like, these leaves are as big as your head. This leaf right here is like as big as this woman's torso. It's just incredible. And then these leaves right here, they're bigger than your hand. The whole leaf is just heavy with these massive tropical leaves. And it's interesting to see things change over time. The landscape around this area has changed a little bit. For example, when I was younger, you couldn't actually go up here, but now you basically stand on top of the waterfall. And view it from up here. This path just didn't exist about 2 decades ago. Ah, there's even a rainbow at Rainbow Falls. Love it. What's this? Yeah. Look at this giant tree. There's all forms of life growing on it. And here's a high rush season. You have these smaller waterfalls that show up on the sides. And the double waterfall becomes this rushing waterfall. It's beautiful. Everything here is just so gorgeous. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I would love to do more of these. And just keep in mind, even if you're stuck in quarantine and you have nothing to do, Google Earth is always there for you. You don't even have to buy a ticket. And if you're bored of one place, go to another. And you will always find something interesting. It's a good way to take a look back at places you miss, you know? I'm glad I got to share my favorite place in the world with you guys. So everyone stay safe, even after quarantine is over. And if you can't travel, do it on Google. I'll see you guys in the next one.